We are going to begin our analysis of the external environment by looking at two frameworks, the Pestel framework and the Industry Change Model framework. The Art of War, written by Sun Tzu, states that we should survey the battlefield before entering battle. Makes complete sense. Same thing for strategy. You need to see what's going on in the external environment prior to making a decision about where you're going to invest your resources or where you want to avoid investing your resources. The first framework we're going to discuss, Pestel, P-E-S-T-E-L, is the only framework that we will use that looks at the general external environment. And I really need to emphasize that. It's the general environment. The other frameworks that we use will look at the industry, which is external to the firm, but it doesn't look at the overarching kind of trends that are going on in the world that could open up opportunities for your firm if you're aware of them. So Pestel stands for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Now, Pestel is not the only framework that looks at the general environment. There's very similar frameworks to this that rhyme with this one. So often you'll see this list that also includes global or international instead of perhaps environmental. So keep in mind you can look at other categories, but what this list does is it encourages you to segment the external environment and really think about what trends are going on in each of these categories that may impact your business, or in your business people haven't even started to think about them yet. Right? So I would like you to go into Moodle and do the exercise that asks you to come up with a change in each one of these segments. Now, these are all kind of it depends, and there's some gray areas in these categories. So consider political and legal. Those can be very related. And often there's things that go across the whole spectrum of all of these categories. So I'm not going to be really particular in if you put something in political and it could have also been in legal, that's fine. But I really want you to come up with something unique in each of these categories. Let's give you a couple of examples. Obviously, politics, if you have a change in administration, that can create opportunities and difficulties for firms, right? Different trends in economics could impact either your customer's ability to buy or your ability to employ labor. So before I give away too many answers, I'd like you to do this in Moodle. So let's look at a couple of examples about how Pestel can be useful. I love this example, even though it's a little bit dated. It was in the Wall Street Journal in 2011. And what the article was referring to was the fact that Oprah Winfrey had announced that she was retiring from daytime TV. So the executives at the studios were very, very excited about the opportunity that was being created when Oprah left daytime TV to go after her customers, her core demographic. And so there was a lot of speculation and a lot of effort made in trying to figure out who was going to replace Oprah on daytime TV. And so Anderson Cooper and Katie Couric were both offered daytime TV slots. Now, we're sitting in 2017, and we know that neither one of them ended up dominating in that daytime TV slot, even though a lot of money was spent on their productions. Okay, so what's going on? A Pestel analysis can tell us what's going on. Had the studio heads considered what was changing in the external environment, they probably could have saved quite a bit of money in trying to develop a replacement for Oprah's TV show. If you take a look at this graphic, you can see that in 2011, Oprah really wasn't the queen of daytime TV. It was Judge Judy. Right? So Judge Judy's viewership was increasing, Oprah's was decreasing, along with Dr. Phil and Regis and Kelly, and Ellen DeGeneres was actually tracking pretty flat. So what was changing? Well, if we think about economics at that time, we were in a recession, trying to come out of a recession. So you had people who had gone back to work, who maybe had been stay-at-home, and Oprah's audience is women, clearly women, crosses races, but it's the age group of, let's say, 30 to 70. So many of those women who used to be at home went back to work, given the recession. Layoffs disproportionately affected men over women, so you had more men at home during the day. And so that's economically, there were some shifts there about who was actually watching daytime TV. Right? And if you really think about it, elderly people are watching daytime TV, and they prefer Judge Judy to Oprah. Right? Why? Well, concise, short episodes. They're not soap operas where you have to keep track of these really complicated plots. And in fact, soap operas have pretty much died out synchronously on channels, although they are available asynchronously. And Judge Judy always has an answer. And she's right. And she chastises people who are disrespectful. And she helps to resolve these small problems. And so it appeals to a much broader audience than Oprah's show did, because you have older people at home. You also have more men at home. People are doing shift work, and so they might have one day a week that they're at home. And so had the studio executives done a Pestel analysis, they would have realized that they didn't need to worry about replacing Oprah. They needed to come up with an offering that would match the same demographic that Judge was watching Judge Judy. Here's some more trends that are going on from the August 2015 Wall Street Journal article. And we all know this, but growth in organic food has increased and natural foods have increased dramatically. And then just this fall, there was an interesting article about how telenovelas, which had been thought to be very popular by Univision, actually their viewership is going down. And Univision, who caters to a Latin American audience, has seen a bifurcation in their viewing audience. So what people in Latin America want is very different than people in North America of Hispanic origins want to watch. And so they're having to come up with different offerings for these different groups. Another one that is dramatically impacting business around the world, retail, particularly the United States, is the dramatic shift towards purchasing online. We're seeing retailers close left and right. We can watch how malls are struggling, department stores are struggling, but even small stores are struggling with the shift to online retailing. And it's just unbelievable, although this is a little bit of a dated graphic, how much Amazon dominates this space. We'll have an example later this semester or during this course, where Walmart is really struggling to take on Amazon in the web internet space.